Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to the Joy Channel podcast, where we tune into something good all the time. Tuning into the beautiful feelings within yourself, first and foremost, and observing how that ripples out into your world. If you only ever did one thing, and that was be tuned into joy, your whole life would shift and be different. You would access all of the thoughts and consciousness of that level of joy. So then every thought and inspiration you would receive would be in resonance with it. You would have no choice other than that. So if that's an invitation for you, is to cultivate more joy in your life. Think about it more. That's why I have the 30-day joy accelerator. But what we're going to do is we're going to make this more accessible for our daily lives, to incorporate it into absolutely every little thing that we do. And my favorite way of doing this is called playing wizard, or just making life more magical. I have an event called Play Wizard that I'm putting on in about a week and a half. But here, I'm going to break it the whole thing down for you right now. And you can do this every single day of your life. View everything in your life in the most magical way ever. You are no longer just stating affirmations. No, you're casting spells out into the universe. You are, every word that you speak is your spell. Every thought you think is your spell. You are a highly skilled, highly specialized wizard who is a master of energy, a master of professing your perfection into reality. Everything you say, everything you speak, it is a magical spell. So be aware of that forever now. And every time you catch yourself slipping, anytime you catch any thoughts that are not of your highest wealth, joy, happiness, eat those out of existence, because that is not the spells that you are casting anymore. No, sir, not any longer. You are all about casting the energy that you're vibrating through the universe. The universe, the one song. Choose the notes you're playing. If the notes are sounding off key, tune your strings, tune your guitar. You wouldn't throw your guitar out if it were out of tune. You would tune it. You would change the strings. So, adjust yourself appropriately. Number 2 is potions. Potions. Hello. How many of you out there have, 3, 4, 5, 6 beverages going at the same time? For me, it'll be like I'll have water, I'll have some sort of juice, maybe I'll have a kombucha, I'll have a tea, I vary what I have. Sometimes I have matcha, sometimes I have cacao. I love beverages. They are beautiful. And every time I have a beverage, what do? Cast a little spell on it, aka I set intention into it. I tell it what its name is. I call it into existence as this structure. You determine what your water is. So as you're holding it, put your intention into it. This is the best month of my life. This is the best day of my life. My life is so magical. Everything's happening so perfectly for me. I'm speaking to all the right people. I'm doing all the right things. Everything is falling into place for me. People are thinking about me all over the world in wonderful ways and are bringing me in on the most wonderful projects. Whatever it is that you're inspired to say and magnify in your life, put it into your water. And then throughout your day, every single time you take a sip from your glass, that's going to echo and replay in your being. You're going to be reminded, even if it's not fully consciously, you're going to pick up the water and you're going to say something like, oh yeah, I'm so wonderful. And that's going to firm in the repetition. And that's part of making life more magical, is saying, this is my magical potion that I have just enchanted with this specific outcome. It's so much fun and it's so true. And there have been countless studies of people who have worked with water and, the intelligence of water, the consciousness of water, when you put intention into water and then grow plants, or the rice jar study where you put love into it and it stayed healthy. And then I may have mentioned that one the other day. Anyway, oh, pardon me. Now, whenever I yawn, I think of, or whenever I yawn, whenever I burp, whenever anything really happens, I'm like, oh, that was energy moving in whatever way. Um, so where was I? Right. Casting your spells with your affirmations, your statements, which is what I take all my manifestation clients through, and utilizing potions, blessing everything that you drink, everything that you eat as well, anything that you consume, anything that's going to come into your body. Before you go on your phone and scroll, recognize that your phone is a magical mirror that can shift through dimensions. You can see anything that you request. How cool is that? So utilize that wisely and choose what you see. Because if you're like, show me blah, 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 then you're going to see blah, blah, blah. But you could say, show me, ha, 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 and then you will find that as well. Be discerning. Everything that you consume is something that you're putting in your body. So take in only that which you, as a fully conscious being, desire to magnify in reality. Only that which you desire to magnify in consciousness. Thank you very much. What else? What else? What else? What's the next part? Okay, we did magic mirror, affirming, casting spells, potions. Oh, yeah, believing food gives you different abilities and health points is also wonderful and true. Like, life just straight up is magical, and yet we've been taught to view it as if it's boring and mundane. And that's just lacking in appreciation and imagination. If you don't see how wonderful things are, that is a lack of imagination. And perhaps well, it's an invitation now to make life more wonderful and enjoyable by seeing how wonderful it is innately and naturally. Like, plants grow out of the ground and create beautiful fruit and flowers and smells, and we walk on the earth and communicate with her. We live in a magical world. The world is magic, straight up. Magic and science are the same thing. They're just describing things, energy, in different ways. Magic is describing energy in through movement, essentially, the movement of energy. Science is describing it through, well, I would say numbers and letters. I would say numbers, and it's just the same thing. I'm super excited for the day when um Thor in the Marvel movies saying something like, yeah, our magic is just our science and yours hasn't caught up yet. And that's so true. But when you connect with spirit and when you receive epiphany and wisdom straight from consciousness, you know. And so making life really fun and enjoyable by playing is so worthwhile. Alchemizing, that's the next thing, is alchemy is turning lead into gold. When I think of alchemy, I think of emotional alchemy, of taking something. Think right now of something that you're afraid of. It'll probably be really obvious to you what it is. Now, instead of getting into the thought structures of it, observe it. Simply observe it. Just look at it. Be free. You can be free. In observing it, we take its power out of us because we're able to see it for what it is, which is simply a thought. A thought, perhaps, that has been thought and repeated many times, meaning that it's a spell that has been cast and practiced many times. And conversely, any other spell can be now repeated and magnified and experienced. If you've been repeating it a lot, your ancestors repeated it a lot, etc., you were taught to repeat it a lot, of course it's what you're experiencing. So if you note that you don't want to experience that anymore, cast a different spell, wizard. What's the next part? What is the next part? Okay. I'm going through the list in my mind. Pardon. Movement. Physical movement. There's so many different ways of saying this, but essentially, the way that you move is the energy that you are forming yourself with right now. The way that you move, the way that you breathe, movement goes all the way down to the way your eye muscles are twitching, moving, the way your veins are moving. The movement of fluids through your body is movement. So it's how you walk, how you talk, how you think, how you drive yourself, how you motivate yourself. This is all movement. And when we consciously move, like having 10, 15, 20 minutes a day where we put on really wonderful music, meaning music that are either casting excellent spells or that are wordless, we move energy through our body. And when you become attuned to this, you can direct the energy and move it through your body in specific ways that feel really, really excellent. You can tune into pleasure with one breath simply by choosing it. That is movement of energy. So movement of energy is movement of all things. Movement is movement. Bring more magic into your movement. Walk through life like you are the wizard that you are. Walk through life as the powerful, wonderful, creative being that you are, fully embodied. And dance and experience pleasure. Dance has been shown to increase the full complement of neurotransmitters, which I'm not surprised at all. The ancient shamanic advice that is given all over the places. When was the last time you danced? When's the last time you sang? When's the last time you laughed? So, literally, if you dance, sing, and laugh, you will be well. And if I say this in every episode because it was my experience, and I'm grateful for it because I was able to learn how well it works. But if you're not in a place where you can physically get up and dance right now, do it in your mind. I love twirling in my mind. I'll do it sometimes if I'm like real cozy in my bed, but I want to experience whimsy and joy. I also imagine spinning on a lira if, a hoop suspended from the ceiling by a string. It's wonderful. But you can take your body through wonderful, wonderful experiences in your mind. That's movement of energy. The last little bit I'm going to talk about is divination, which to divine something, right? To be connected with the all knowing God being that is forming literally everything, meaning every atom of your being is formed of God. It is God. It's just, sometimes God holding the consciousness of a helium atom, God holding the consciousness of being copper wire. Humans, beautiful beings that we are, think slightly differently than other species. Cats, dogs, they think in their own ways. And all things are consciousness, but they do not have thoughts in the same way. They are energy and can be perceived of and communicated with and known, but you will not find a crystal repeating a thought, a sentence, usually, right? It's usually an energy. Sometimes they can pick them up, right? Quartz has been shown to record lots of things. That's why, quartz crystals are used in a lot of electronics. So I'm going to take back what I said. They can pick up phrases, right? It gets into the structure of it. And think about that too. Yeah. Quartz that doesn't have thought in the same way that we do still is able to pick up and hold a phrase. So you, as a being that is a living crystal, the structure of you picks up the phrases that you perpetuate for yourself. I was talking about divination. Oh my gosh. Okay. So tuning into your yes and no. I've done this so many times on this podcast, but if you close your eyes, take a deep breath in, exhale, and ask your body, show me what a yes feels like. All right, body, show me in a way that is super clear for me. Show me what a yes feels like. And then you can ask, all right, body, show me what a no feels like. Show me what a no feels like. Show me what a maybe feels like. Maybes are no's. A maybe is a no, at least for me. Maybe is a no. It's just a no. Because you know what? Maybes are sometimes like not at this time, but the only time that exists is now. So it's just a no. Divination. Some people use things that are outside the body, like pendulums or card decks or whatever. And I certainly have used those things because it's fun and whimsical to work with pretty objects and tools. Straight up, but you don't need them at all. It's just if you want to have enjoyment in that way, then you can do that. I would strongly caution anyone from making a card deck have power outside of you. It doesn't. You are the consciousness, you're the reader, you're the director. So when you perceive of things, you're like, okay, interesting. That is the spread of my energy. That's the way my energy is swirling right now, that the random cards, I say random, but the cards that I flip that coincide with my energy, the coincidence of it all, is exactly these cards telling me this message. And making your own card deck can be really, really fun if you do intuitively, you tune into your being. I made one a couple months ago for my own enjoyment. And in it, I had words like velocity and acceleration and other things that aren't usually in card decks. I also had all the elements and space and other stuff. But yeah, if you make your own deck if you want to for fun, you don't need to, but if you feel inspired to, make it and just see what words your guidance tells you to include, because that process in and of itself can be really, really illuminating. So that's just a few tips of how to make life more magical. As I said, I am guiding a workshop on the 16th that is guiding people through these processes, and the registration for that is on my website. I'm super excited about it. And there's a suggested donation of $75. It's a 3-hour workshop. And if you feel super, super called, but that's a little bit out of your range right now, shoot me an email, because I'm more in love with the feeling of people who really, really resonate with it being there. So I see you as your rich and wealthy self, and I know you'll be there. So go to that link and register, and we will see you playing with energy and having the best time of your life. I've made a playlist already for the movement dance section of it, and it's gonna be good. All right. So much love and appreciation. Hope you have the absolute best, most magical, fantastic, stupendous day of your life. You're phenomenal, you're magical, you're wonderful. Keep on shining. And we'll see you next week. Bye.